I want to talk to you about something that changes the very atmosphere of a room when you realize it. Walking with God isn't a Sunday event or a distant religious duty. It is a practical, minute-by-minute partnership that changes how you handle your morning coffee, how you react to a rude coworker, and how you put your head on the pillow at night. Living with God in your daily life is like having a constant, steadying hand on your shoulder in a world that is always trying to knock you off balance. When we live with God daily, the first thing that changes is our perspective on stress. Most of the world wakes up and immediately begins to carry the weight of the future. We worry about bills, we worry about our health, and we worry about what people think of us. But when you walk with God, you realize you aren't the CEO of your own life anymore. You are a child of a Father who owns the stars. You begin to understand that if He can feed the birds of the air and clothe the lilies of the field, He is certainly not going to forget about you. This doesn't mean your problems vanish, but it means the weight of them is shared. You stop saying, "I have to figure this out," and you start saying, "God, how are we going to handle this today?" Living with God also gives you a filter for your ego. In our daily lives, we are constantly baited into being angry or offended. Someone cuts us off in traffic, or someone takes credit for our work, and our ego screams for justice. But when you are in a daily relationship with God, His Spirit whispers a different truth. He reminds you that you are already loved, already seen, and already forgiven. When you know you are secure in His eyes, you don't have to fight so hard for the world's approval. You can afford to be kind when others are mean. You can afford to be patient when everything is moving too slow. You become a person of peace in a world of chaos, not because you are perfect, but because the Prince of Peace is walking beside you. Furthermore, God acts as our daily compass. We all face hundreds of tiny decisions every day. Should I say this? Should I go there? Should I buy this? When you live in constant conversation with Him, you develop a spiritual intuition. You'll feel a nudge to call a friend who, it turns out, was having a terrible day. You'll feel a check in your spirit to stay quiet when you were about to say something hurtful. This is God helping you navigate the minefield of daily life. He is the lamp to your feet, not a spotlight that shows the whole map, but a lamp that shows you exactly where to put your foot for the next step. And perhaps the most beautiful part of living with God daily is the healing of loneliness. You can be in a room full of people and feel completely alone, or you can be in a quiet house and feel completely full. When you live with God, the lonely spaces in your life get filled with His presence. You start to find joy in the small things again. You see His hand in the sunset, His grace in a stranger's smile, and His strength in your own ability to keep going when you thought you couldn't. Finally, remember that God is the God of the law of the return. As you walk with Him and follow His lead to be kind, to be honest, and to be helpful, He manages the harvest of your life. He ensures that the goodness you pour out comes back to you in the form of deep, unshakable joy and divine protection. You aren't just getting through the day, you are building an eternal legacy in the middle of your ordinary routine. So, as you go about your day today, don't leave Him behind at the door. Talk to Him in the car. Ask for His help in the meeting. Lean on Him when you feel that wave of sadness try to return. He is not a God of the distance, He is the God of the right now. And with Him, even the hardest day becomes a path leading you towards something beautiful. A journey that takes us through the darkest valleys of sadness, across the high mountains of our own pride, and finally into the quiet, sunlit fields of a life lived in partnership with God. If you are carrying a heavy heart right now, the first thing you must understand is that your sadness does not disqualify you from a good life. In the Bible, we see that God is closest to those who are broken-hearted. He doesn't wait for you to be happy to walk with you, He meets you in the tears. But the secret to moving through that sadness is found in how we handle our own hearts. You see, when we are in pain, our ego often tries to take over. The ego is that voice inside us that becomes obsessed with its own hurt, its own rights, and its own image. It tells us to be bitter, to compare our lives to others, and to shut the world out. But a life led by the ego is like a house built on sand. It will always feel unstable and exhausted. To control your ego is to find the ultimate freedom. It means realizing that you don't have to be the greatest, the smartest, or the most successful person in the room to be deeply, infinitely valuable. When you quiet the ego, you make room for God to speak. And what He speaks is a message of kindness. He shows us that the way to heal our own lives is often to reach out and help heal someone else's. There is a divine paradox at work here. When you are kind to others, especially when you are hurting, you are opening a door for your own healing. Being a good person is not about being perfect, it is about being intentional. It is about waking up and deciding that you will be a source of light rather than a drain of energy. It is about being nice, not just when it's easy, but when you are tired, or when someone is being difficult. This is where your health and happiness truly begin. Much of our physical and mental illness comes from the stress of anger, the weight of grudges, and the constant friction of the ego. When you choose to be kind, you are literally choosing health for your body. You are releasing the poison of resentment and replacing it with the medicine of peace. And here is the most beautiful promise: nothing you do in love is ever wasted. We live in a world of echoes. When you put kindness, patience, and help into the world, you are sowing seeds in God's garden. The Bible promises that we will reap what we sow. If you sow mercy, you will find mercy when you stumble. If you sow generosity, you will find doors opening for you when you are in need. God is a just and loving Father. He sees every secret act of goodness, every time you helped someone without seeking credit, and every time you controlled your temper when you had every right to be angry. He will return those things to you in good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Living with God in your daily life means you are never walking a solo path. He becomes the partner in your work, the comfort in your loneliness, and the strength in your weakness. When you face a problem, you don't have to rely on your own limited power. You can lean back into His infinite strength. This daily connection is what keeps you happy. It's a happiness that doesn't depend on the weather or your bank account, but on the unshakable truth that you are loved by the Creator of the universe. So, let go of the need to be right or important in the eyes of the world. Focus on being kind, being humble, and being helpful. Take care of your body as a gift from Him, and take care of your neighbor as a brother or sister. As you pour out the love God gives you, you will find that your own cup never runs dry. Your sadness will begin to lift, replaced by a purposeful joy, and you will see that by becoming a person of goodness, you have invited the favor of God to rest upon everything you touch. Before we part ways today, I want to leave you with one final thought. No matter how dark the room you are standing in feels right now, remember that you are not the one who has to generate the light. You only have to open the window. May you go into your day knowing that you are never truly alone. May you find the strength to be kind when it's hard, the humility to let go of the things that don't matter, and the courage to trust that your life is in good hands. Remember that every seed of goodness you plant today is growing into a harvest for your tomorrow. Be gentle with yourself. Be a light to someone else. And trust that the same God who leads the stars in the sky is leading you home to peace. Thank you for being here. You are loved, you are seen, and the best is yet to come.